Okay, we're live.
All
Just
right.
gonna give it a second to make sure everything sounds good. Say something.
Hey, what's up?
Okay, that works. Give it a second. It's starting now.
All
Just
right.
gonna give it a second to make sure everything sounds good. Say something.
Hey, what's up?
Okay, that works. Give it a second. It sounds
All right.
good to me.
Yeah.
Just gonna turn the audio capture up a little bit. Okay. So let's get started. I was gonna ask you.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Just getting back to where I need to be on my screen. So, Turnip, what religion were you growing up? Are you still religious?
Okay, so I'm not religious anymore. I'm just like full on atheist. And I always grew up around Christianity, but apparently, according at least to what my sister has told me and what my family members have told me, I actually have like Islamic backgrounds as well.
Really? Islamic background. So your
Yeah.
parents had Islamic backgrounds?
Yeah, at least what I know, because I'm not like completely sure on it. My
Right.
parents also grew up around Islam, but they just they taught me around like Christianity and things like that, and like Christian morals.
Very interesting. So how did you discover, I guess, that they had an Islamic background?
Well, one time, my mom just told me like I just found out that my dad was always went under like the idea that my dad's Islamic and that my mom is Christian. And then me and my sister were talking one day about like religion and like our background, and she told me like you do know that our mom is also Islamic along with her dad. And then like I had no idea whatsoever.
That is very crazy. So,
Yeah,
how long ago did this happen? Like how long ago did you discover this whole thing about him?
maybe not pretty recent actually.
Do you ever see him like praying or anything like that, or doing any kind of Islamic practices? Or
Like Islamic practices, no, but like when I was younger, I do have memories of like finding like I think what I at least what I assume to be like a Muslim prayer book under my mother's pillow, and I just assumed that's what it was because it wasn't
Hmm,
like a Bible or anything, and
right?
it was definitely in like Arabic.
Okay, wow, that is fascinating. Yeah, I've actually heard this from ex-Muslims, where actually I've heard this from current Muslims, where they say that the Quran is it can really only be interpreted correctly if it's read in its original Arabic. Something about how special the words were, some nonsense like that.
Yeah,
But that's why a lot of Muslims, even Americanized Muslims, even Muslims who are just white and have no Middle Eastern background at all, will try to learn Arabic so that they can read it in its original Arabic, because an English translation apparently doesn't do it justice. I mean, I think it's just total BS, but whatever. So you say you think you found a prayer book or like the Quran or
yeah, something
something.
along those lines. It definitely wasn't like something that belonged part of the Christian faith.
Very interesting. So did you like what denomination of Christian did you grow up as? Do you know, or was it like
I'm not really too
non-denominational?
sure, but it was like you're really like simple Christians, like just teaching you. I went to like Catholic school and things
Huh.
like that, and so did my sister. When we went, like we just both grew up around the Christian faith.
So it wasn't like really extremist Christian or anything.
No, definitely not. No.
Okay. Well, that's good at least, I guess.
Yeah, like my parents have taken me to church a couple of times, but
Okay.
like it wasn't like a really big occurrence, and
Yeah.
then like they wouldn't like force anything upon us.
That is very fascinating. I wonder what brought them to raise you as a Christian, even though they were Muslim. So many questions
Honestly,
surrounding this.
beyond me.
Well, anyway, that's real. That's a really interesting story. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about before I move on to another
Um,
person?
I'm not really too sure. Like, I really don't know much about like what brought them to bringing me into the Christian
Mm,
faith. But other than that, like, really, like, this is as much as I know.
right. That's fascinating. And by the way, I had a question for you as a side note.
Yeah.
What have you ever had any interactions with Mormons? Like, do you have any opinion on Mormonism?
Mormons, I haven't really met any, at least that have told me. And like Mormonism, like I haven't really seen any like too extreme, but like as I'm sure with any religion, at least with most mainstream religions, is that like there's always like the extremists in it, like the
Sure,
people who push it like way too far.
sure.
And I'm sure like Mormonism is like I'm sure there's people in Mormonism who also do that.
Sure. Yeah, I'm on the same page. Yeah, basically every denomination does have its extremists. That's true.
Yeah.
But I think that we can usually find extremist denominations among Christianity in the same way we find extremists within denominations. And I think Mormonism, after the research I've done, for this last video, I think it is an extremist denomination. It's not even completely Christian. I mean, there are so many side areas to it. It's just a really fascinating subject. But
Yeah.
anyway,
It's just like, of course, like religions, like on their basis can be like extreme,
yeah.
but it all like mostly, at least in this day and age, it just comes down to like how far people want to push it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Um, anyway, well, I appreciate you coming on and talking to me.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Let's see. I was hoping to talk to Teal, but I don't see Teal here yet. Or maybe I'm just overlooking Teal. Okay. Well, I've got a pin by your name, Teal, so if you are in here, I will get around to you. Just send me a message in the voice channel. Actually, I'm going to switch to voice text 4 so that I can see what people are sending me. There's another person I wanted to speak with, which was proud supporter of Alan, but I don't see their name here either. Okay, I'm going to unmute Not Spooky Skeleton. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Hello, how are you?
Oh, not too bad. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Good. So we talked last time, didn't we?
Good.
And I think there was something else you wanted to cover, wasn't there this time?
Yeah, I remember like back when I was in like there was a couple things. I remember like back when I was like in middle school, like Catholic middle school and everything. We had this crazy she was like we had a good principal to start off with, then she left, and then we got a really, really weird principal. And like we had mass like twice a week, usually like one for like they had mass like for like the lower grades one day, the middle school, and then like third, fourth, and fifth grade for one session. Then we all had an all school mass on Friday. That's what she called them at least. And
Right.
usually every day before mass, like the principal, like she always like had us like stretch and like wave at the cross and say good morning, Jesus, and all this weird stuff.
That's so crazy. So it was a Catholic school or it was just a religious school?
Catholic, yes.
Very interesting. So roughly what grades did you go to school, to that specific school?
Well, Catholic schools across the street. I went to one for 3 years, and then so they had preschool there. So I did preschool, kindergarten, first grade, and it started to cost too much. So I went to the one across the street after that, which was through eighth grade. And then I went to a Catholic high school for 1 year, which was my sophomore year. I mean, my freshman year.
So it was at the very least all the way through your freshman year of high school then. Wait.
Then we had this
Okay.
religion teacher too. She also said to like during the middle of class we were talking about like how people and like have souls and stuff, and she was saying like, oh yeah, animals don't have soul, dogs don't go to heaven, and like she crushed like all the kids like hopes and dreams and
Right.
everything. It was like a
Wow.
really sad day.
That's great. So she said that like animals don't have souls and all that stuff.
They don't have souls, they don't have intelligent minds to love God, so they can't choose and everything,
Jeez,
and they
man.
once they die they just die.
That is insane. What a thing to tell a child. But when you think about
Pet
it,
just died too.
say that again.
Pet died like about a week before she said that.
Jeez. It's like when you think about it, there are a lot of really terrible things told to children in the name of religion. Like the fact that if you don't follow these specific sets of rules, then you're going to hell. I mean, I know people now who are so scared of hell, even being atheist, even being on the outside and not believing it anymore. They're just crushed with the fear and the guilt. It's really hard to get over.
Right.
Anyway, well, I appreciate you coming on. Hopefully I'll speak with you again soon, though, right? Okay, let me see here. These are the parts that I want to edit out, these big long gaps. So I was going to talk to P-Funk. Are you there, P-Funk?
Yes, I am.
Oh, is there any way you can turn your mic up a little bit? Is that possible?
Yeah, let me just take a look at this for a second.
Okay. So while I have you and while you're working on that, I don't know that I've spoken to you on voice chat before. Have I? I may have.
I don't think you have. Is this good now?
Yeah, that looks good to me. So,
All
what religion were you growing up? Are you still religious?
I am not. I was Roman Catholic.
Interesting. Do you feel like your family kind of pushed it down your throat, or were they pretty relaxed about it?
Well, okay, my dad is atheist. He was atheist since he was a kid.
Okay.
But my mom was also Roman Catholic when she was growing up. She didn't really push it as much because she doesn't really like the whole molesting priest
Yeah.
getting that kind of stuff down there. But she does value Christ and all that stuff. So
Interesting.
she does want me to be Catholic, but she doesn't really agree with the church per se.
Well, that's a step in the right direction, I guess, isn't it? I mean, a lot of people just justify the things that the Catholic Church does because they believe it to be the truth, and in essence are donating money to an organization that's moving pedophiles around the country, around the world, to protect them from prosecution. So
It's pretty.
Can
It's
get
pretty
pretty
messed up.
ugly. Yeah, I guess in that sense you kind of got lucky. But so you didn't really grow up extremist then. Is that a fair assessment to say?
No, I didn't really. I wasn't a praying person all the time. I didn't insist on going to church and didn't feel bad if I didn't go.
Okay.
I didn't really give much thought to it until like about 8 months ago.
Mm.
I really got into it because I wanted to start off because I was hearing things from my religion teachers and things, and it kind of just got me into this mindset like I better get on this if I want to be like if I want to go to heaven, you know?
Yeah.
So I just started doing it, and I got like I started feeling that way. I was like, I need to go to church, I need to do all these things, and I have to do that in order to be a good person.
This is about 8 months ago, you said?
Yeah, about 8 months ago I started doing this.
So what changed? Like what made you decide to stop doing that?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So I have autism, and it's
Mm.
one of my goals to be very logical. It's been since I was a kid. I was like, I want to be a very methodical person.
Right.
And my New Year's resolution was make more sense. Like, think out what I'm going to say before I say it,
Sure.
and be a more reasonable person. So I went to church like a few days after New Year's Eve and New Year's, and I was like, wait a minute. Okay, this doesn't.
So you
I kinda
so you went to church a few days after New Year's Eve. You started kind of seeing that it wasn't really adding up.
Yeah, but then I was like, okay, whatever. I mean, it has to be true, right? I mean,
Right.
people have been telling me this my whole life. So then I just kind of put it off, and I still went it. And then random grace for me becoming the way I am. Professor Six videos just randomly appeared in my YouTube feed.
Oh.
So I clicked on it. I'm like, okay, what is this? He was talking about Muslims or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this isn't Catholic, so I can just watch this and see what he has to say. And I'm like, this makes sense. This is actually what makes sense, not whatever Catholics are saying.
Yeah.
But I still kind of wanted to be in it because I was like, what if Catholicism is true, you know?
Right.
And I'd go to hell. So then I kind of just did. I still did it, but I was like, I don't know if this is right. So I did, and then like 2 months ago, I'm like, I can't doing this. This is like, it can't be right. It's just the way it can't add up. So now I'm full on atheist.
Very interesting. I'm glad that you found your way out. That's really good. So, would it be a fair assessment to say that you watched Professor Stick's, or you watched Professor Stick just tear apart Muslim arguments, and by doing so, that let you critically examine your own religion? Is that what happened, or?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad you're on the outside.
And then I found you by watching him.
Right. I've addressed Catholics twice. I don't know. Did you see those videos I did of Catholicism?
I remember seeing one, the one you talked about it being a cult.
Okay. What do you think of it? It's pretty controversial.
I would say it's true because most of it. I mean, I'd have to watch the video to see what I might not totally agree with. But you saying how they guilt people, that is totally true. I mean, I go to Catholic school, you know, and my religion teacher and my math teacher is super, like a mega Catholic, you know.
Right.
And she's my homeroom teacher. I love her as a teacher. She's very excellent at math, but she's like, there's like prayers that you have to do. It's like an assignment. You have to say prayers in the 3 months. And what she does is that if you don't have prayers done, she does like, there's 6 prayers, and she goes, everyone leave for the end of the day. A minute later, everyone with 5 prayers done. So she goes down the list of how many people have prayers done. And if you don't have any done, you have to wait 6 minutes before everyone else goes to be able to leave school. I know. And I just do all of them right away because I'm like, I have things to do. I don't want to mess around with this.
Sure.
So it's quite annoying for the people who aren't as on it and aren't as academically geared, because they have to sit in class for 6 minutes before they're able to go.
Yeah, I can understand. That is ridiculous, and that's one of the main reasons why I feel like religious schools shouldn't even exist. Like, it just kills me that they're forcing kids to do things like that. It's such a waste of time. It's such a waste of education. It just drives me insane.
Yeah, that's all the thing. And then we go to church.
Right.
I mean,
you go to church like during class hours, right? Like for an hour a day or something like that?
It's on Wednesdays. It's on Wednesdays, and it's 50 minutes out of our normal schedule.
Okay. And so okay, I've got you. So it does come out of your normal schedule, and it's once a week, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like we miss religion class on those days.
Okay. What do you learn in religion class exactly? I've talked about this with some other people, but I wanted to get your perspective on it.
So in religion class, usually what we do is talk about saints. This trimester, we've been talking about saints and their lives and why they're holy, and their backgrounds. And on Thursdays, our priest comes into class and basically it's just a 45-minute brainwashing session on how you should be Catholic. And that's pretty much all I've been doing.
I don't really see the value in that. I mean, from what you've told me so far, it just doesn't feel like valuable information that a kid should need to know. Why the saints are holy and things like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can see the value in religious history, you know, or just theology in general, learning how different religions work or things like that. I will give that to them, but I have to draw the line somewhere. I don't know.
I agree with you on that. It doesn't make sense to analyze the holiness, but it is useful to know who they were.
Yeah, sure.
In history, like where they came from. Like Saint Branch, she came from Lourdes. Like you can know that stuff. That's useful if someone asks you. But she was holy because she saw Mary in a cave. That's not very useful.
Right. That's another
everyday
thing.
life.
In a normal school, we would have classes like that where they would be giving scientific reasons for certain things. This is just supposition after supposition. It's just awful.
And I'm lucky because when my teachers are actually teaching like math or science, they're actually doing their job.
Right.
Like they're not like, oh, science is this way because, oh, Jesus, they're not like that. They actually, most of them are older. They actually teach proper knowledge in school.
Well, that's
they
a
are Catholic.
step in the right direction, but then there are those who don't. So,
yeah, like Cyrus on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched one. I just found him a few weeks ago, and he was in like that super mega young Earth creation as
You said
kind of
Suris,
school.
right? Suris.
Yeah, Cyrus. Yeah.
Yeah, I know him.
Mhm.
I actually met him in person when we went to Faithless Forum. He's a pretty cool guy.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's cool. So yeah, he was like completely mega young Earth creation as school.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I saw one of his videos. Yeah, it was like Earth is 6,000 years old. There was a class dedicated to why evolution is wrong in his school.
That is intense, man.
Yeah, I'm lucky I didn't end up there because I'd probably never gotten out.
I swear we need better regulation on this. But I appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna move on to somebody else.
Yep.
Hopefully we can talk again, right?
I'd love to do it again. This was fun.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, goodbye.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting. And actually, I pulled this up halfway through the discussion. People on the live stream can see it, but it's the bite model. This guy right here, Stephen Hassan, he is a cult expert. He was in the Moonies. It was a cult back in the 1970s, and he ended up shunning his family, all kinds of other crazy stuff. And when he finally made his way out, he wrote this book called Combating Cult Mind Control. And years and years and years later, when I was maybe 20 years old, my brother-in-law had a copy of that book, Combating Cult Mind Control. And I didn't read it, but I saw it. And I finally just ended up reading that book probably last year. And it was one of the best books I have ever read, at least on this subject, for sure. The dude is just so insightful, and he has really formed the conversation around cults and things like that. But he came up with the BITE model. Basically, I guess you could call it a checklist of sorts for cults to see if something is a cult or not. But BITE stands for behavior control, information control, thought control, and emotional control. You've got things like dictate where and when and with whom you live, restrict or control sexuality, regulate what and how much you eat and drink, exploit you financially. That's under behavior control. Then information control has things like discourage access to non-cult sources of information. I mean, Jehovah's Witnesses hit basically every single one of these. Generate and use propaganda extensively, require you to report thoughts, feelings, and activities to superiors. That's Scientology to a T. They do that. Then thought control has things like teach thought-stopping techniques to prevent critical thoughts, allow only positive thoughts, reject rational analysis, critical thinking, and doubt. And then under emotional control, you got things like instill irrational fears, like phobias, of questioning or leaving the group, promote feelings of guilt, shame, and unworthiness, threaten your friends and family. I mean, this is Scientology to a T. This is Jehovah's Witnesses to a T. It's fascinating how many of these markers those groups meet. And Mormonism too, surprisingly. Mormonism meets most of, if not all of these, in one way or another. So I wanted to speak with Vince. Are you there, Vince? Testing. 1, 2, 3. Vince? No? Vince, I have unmuted you. I will come back around to you and try again in a few minutes after I speak with somebody else. Let's see. Somebody else I wanted to talk to was Infected Bunny, but Actually, I don't see Infected Bunny on here either. Huh. Let's see. All the people that wanted to speak to me aren't in here. Odd. Okay, well, this is what I'll do then. Anybody who wants to speak to me, at me in voice 4. There is somebody else I want to get to, so I'm going to come to you guys in a second. Okay. IMAXer, are you there?
Hello?
Hey. So, you didn't specifically request to speak to me, but I saw you talking in the Ask Telltale channel on the Discord.
Oh my god.
So I figured I'd
Uh-huh.
just hit you up. You
Yeah.
up for talking or no?
Alright, yeah, sure, I'm gonna talk.
Okay. So what religion were you originally? Are you still religious? Or?
I'm a Jehovah Witness.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So
a pain in the ass.
What was that?
It's a really pain in the ass.
Yeah, I know it is. I know exactly what you mean. So, is there any way you're going to be able to get out anytime soon? Are you stuck in it for a while?
Maybe if I go to my grandparents, which they are religious, like I told you that, and
Yeah.
as Telltale and all that.
Yeah.
Or
Of
with
course,
my friends, which they're Satanists.
I do talk to a lot of people in DMs, but sometimes I ask
My
questions I know
grandparents
the answer to
are
anyways.
like the chillest persons on religion because they don't really care if I join or not.
Right? Okay. So what religion are they?
They are Baptists and
Okay.
they don't really give a shit. They just go like, just have God on your side. You don't have to go to church or read the Bible. Just have
Really?
God in your mind. That's it. Yep.
That's lucky. So what how old are you now? You're like, how old are I don't want to out you if you don't want to say.
I'm 14.
Okay. So what's it been like growing up Jehovah's Witness? Are they pretty extremist, your family, or are they...
Oh yeah, they are. Trust me, bro. I really, just by remembering my past, it's like horrible with this religion.
Yeah, I know. I went through
Horrible.
it too. Do you have any stories about it
Usually
you want to tell or anything?
about a lot of them trying manipulating me,
Yeah.
and it just couldn't work.
Yeah, I know.
I just said I already made my own decision, and I'm leaving out of the religion. But they don't take a yes for an answer. They just say no. You have to be here for this reason and that and that and that.
Yeah. I know what you mean. When I was younger, you've probably heard this, but just for those of you who haven't, I ended up getting kicked out of it when I was 18 for having a girlfriend and some other things, a worldly girlfriend. And I crawled in this girl's window of her bedroom and lived in her room for like 3 weeks because I had nowhere else to go, because they'd kicked me out. And eventually I got myself on my feet. It was a long, hard journey, but I did make it eventually. So if there's something
You want me to tell you? Tell you the story how I became an atheist?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I always used to believe in God. Like when this year, like in 2017, like the other year.
Yeah.
I did one time when I was in school. My friends were talking about God and I said like, do you believe in God? And they go like, no, I'm an atheist. And they'd be like, and I was like, can you prove that God doesn't exist? And they're like, well, I could tell God right here that try moving my phone. And he's like, well, he didn't move my phone. So where's your proof for God, David? And I was like, well, we still do not have any proof. And there was this one kid the next morning when I was in art. I told that friend, are you an atheist? He said yes. And he goes like, what religion are you in? He said he's also a Jehovah Witness. And there's when he told me to go in Jehovah Witness Facts. Then when I went there, I learned all the dark secrets about the Jehovah Witness, like child pedophiles in Australia.
Yeah.
You know how many money they have to pay right now?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how much. What was that?
$66 million.
Jeez. It's just going up and up. It's still going on, right? Like they're still being fined
There are
$4,000 a
over
day.
10,000 pedophiles, and they just go like, David, come on, bro, don't listen to that. That's all lies. How can that be a lie? They still put it on the news. That
Right.
just pisses me off.
Yeah, I know. It's actually, I think it's, I covered this on my channel a little while back, and I talked to the John Cedars channel about it, Lloyd Evans, and I think it's 23,000 names they're hiding right now, and they're being fined $4,000 a day until they release the names. And it's been over a year, or what, coming up on 2 years, I think.
There's been like, since the first day that religion started, there has been pedophiles.
Yeah, I know.
They kept on for like 80 years, and they're still pedophiles, and they're still hiding them from
I
there.
know.
And what does my dad say? My dad says, David, you know, in this religion, once they find out a pedophile, they're gonna send it right to the cops. How come they haven't
Yeah.
found out 10,000 pedophiles?
Yeah.
in
Actually,
their religion?
an elder in Ireland was recently deleted for reporting a sex abuse case to the cops. I don't know if you heard about that.
Nope.
Yeah, he was deleted because he told the cops about a sex abuse case, like an ongoing case. They told him not to say a word to anybody. They were keeping it internal, and he did. And yep. So
The reason, you know what? The reason they do that?
why is that?
They do that for they can be like, no, let's just let the people know that we are all pure. Just hide the stuff,
Yep.
the dark secrets, make stuff up for the people to be like, oh man, this religion is all pure. That's what. That's,
Yep. They want
That's
to.
what
They want the
cults are.
appearance, right? Not only that, but
Mhm.
also they want to. They want to keep the government out of their business because they want their whole system to be a government. I know that here's what they want. If they could all live on an island separate from any governments and just set up a theocracy on that island, they would be the happiest people on the planet. That is what they want. That's what they're reaching for. And I wonder, in that kind of case, what they would do, how they would
And they're
treat
gonna call that
disfellowship
paradise.
people. What is it?
They're gonna call that paradise.
Yeah.
That's what cults
It
do.
would be hell. How would they treat disfellowshipped people? They would just,
Trust me, bro. And they say when this generation is over, the end of the world is probably gonna come.
oh
But
yeah,
once they make that island, let's say they do, they're gonna call that paradise. Oh, let's go to paradise, all pure and
Yeah.
all that.
oh yeah.
And I want to ask them if one of them said that. How about if some disease happened there?
Yeah, I know. There is just, I did the math on this, and I suspect they have another 25 to 30 years max before they have to rewrite the second generation
The
teaching.
prophecy, yeah.
Yeah, just a matter of time. And when that happens, they're going to have to alter a lot more than just that teaching. They're going to have to alter the 1914 teaching and all kinds of other stuff, probably. I don't know. They're pretty good at damage control. They may be able to get out of it without altering that, but
They just like changing stuff and be like, oh no, that did not happen.
Yeah.
It happened this and that and that.
yep, it's
That's
just
what they said.
what is
You
it?
know the 1914 prophecy that they said the underworld might come there
Yeah,
because World War II, I think, is
World War
gonna
I,
happen
yeah.
at that time.
yep.
Yeah, they say, oh, it's in the world because World War One is coming, and now they changed it to saying that was just a celebration between the elders.
Yep. It's the same with the whole 1975 thing. I'm sure you've heard of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole 1975 thing where they predicted the end of the world, and they, in the magazines, they stopped saying the end is near and started saying the end is here and all this other stuff. And they,
This generation,
yeah,
which is gonna be in 30 more years.
yep. They did
Like,
this.
can you imagine you being like 80 years old and the world didn't come because of Jehovah's Witness and all that?
Oh, I know. It was
There's
a
time
big
that
mess.
Everybody will leave.
It was a
I
big
know.
mess back then. It's a big mess right now, and it's just a matter of time before it just blows up in their face. But I honestly don't think they're going to lose that many people in the end. Like, I think that people are just going to adapt to the new rules. I just don't think they're going to be able to bring new people in after a while, is all. But anyway, I appreciate I appreciate you talking to me, and actually maybe we can talk again sometime. Just send me a message, and if I see you in the voice chat on one of these nights, then I might unmute you. Is that
Also, did
that good with
you read my comment what I talked about the Ouija board and all that,
Wait, on my YouTube channel or in DMs?
and the DMs.
Yes, I did. I read all of the DMs.
What if like 2 more weeks I do it right with my friends, and a demon actually like just popped up or made a sign or whatever? I'll let you know.
I am betting my life that you will
Nothing will
not.
happen.
What is it?
Nothing will happen.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
believe
betting
that
my
nothing
life
will
nothing will happen. Of course, there's a chance that you will, I don't know, feel something like your brain may create some kind of a confirmation bias or something. But I'm literally betting my life that God and hell and demons are not real. I mean, literally betting my life, obviously, because if it's
that
not
kind of
true,
sounds
then I
like
die, right?
fantasy and all that.
What is it?
Because that sounds like fantasy and all that.
Yeah, not just that, but yeah.
The demons with the dragon wings, horns,
Yeah.
angels with wings of birds and all that. I mean, all that comes from an RPG game or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
I mean, the Bible is like a manga, bro.
I know.
Full fantasy.
All right, man. I've got to move on to somebody else, but I'll talk to you again next time, okay?
All right, bye.
All right. That's cool. Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah. Vince, are you there by chance? I unmuted you. I figured I'd try again. No? No, Vince? Okay.
Wait, dude.
Wait, are you there, Vince?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You caught me
you're
off
good.
guard the last time.
No problem. Any way you can turn your mic up just a little bit?
Is this better?
Yeah, that's better. So, we haven't talked in voice chat before, right?
Nope.
Okay. So tell me, like, what religion were you originally?
Christianity.
Are you still Christian? You still religious at all?
Nah.
Okay. So what brought you out of it? What made you decide it wasn't true?
Well, about a week ago, I started watching your videos.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yep.
So what was the first video you watched? Do you remember?
I forget.
Okay. That's cool. So are your parents religious?
Not really.
Not too much?
Nah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm glad you're on the outside, and I'm glad you like my videos. Okay, let's see. I'm going to move on. Oh, yeah, I had another question for you, actually. What do you think about Mormonism?
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it is pretty bad. You weren't Mormon, I assume.
Nah.
Okay.
In school, we learned about it. They didn't even tell us about it. Like, they were like, oh, these were Mormons. They were in history, blah, blah, blah. They didn't even tell us anything about them.
Right. So I assume you go to a religious school.
Nah, just a normal school.
Really? Interesting. What did they didn't talk about, like, Mormons in depth or anything? Did they talk about other denominations in depth?
Nah, they talk about all the religions and how they were, like, prosecuted when we go over the stuff in the 18th century and 19th century and 20th century.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that the 1800s were a really popular time for extremist religions. Like, you started out with Mormonism in the 1830s, and then the Millerite movement in the 1840s, 30s and 40s. And then from the Millerites, you get, like, Seventh-day Adventists and Jehovah's Witnesses and a bunch of others, so.
And the thing is, our class had, like, an entire period-long discussion about Quakers and what they did wrong. And they didn't even tell us about Quakerism.
Really?
Yeah.
I assume you know I have a video about Quakers and stuff.
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah.
That's why it surprised me so much.
Yeah, they're an interesting group, although they're kind of shrinking. I don't think that they're as dangerous as others. Really, I don't think they're dangerous at all anymore, mostly. Aside from being religious, and religious groups in general are dangerous in their own right, but yeah, they're shrinking, so I'm not that worried about Quakers anymore. But anyway, that's good. Well, I'm glad you found your way out. I guess I'm going to move on to somebody else, but I appreciate you coming on and talking to me.
See you later.
Yep. Okay, let's see. So I talked to Vince. I wanted to talk to Infected Bunny, but I don't see Infected Bunny on here anywhere, unless he or she changed their name. Okay, I'm getting a bunch of ats all of a sudden. Hang on. Okay, I've got to scroll back up to where people added me, so they wanted to talk. Hang on. All right. let's see, mentions. Let's do it that way. You know what? Actually, I am going to unmute. Bobby is here. Hang on. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
So, what religion were you originally?
Christianity.
Oh, was there any particular denomination of Christianity or just general
I
Christian?
think Catholic.
Say again.
Catholic.
Oh, Catholic. Okay. And you're not really Catholic anymore, I guess?
No. It started when I was like in 3rd grade.
Okay.
My grandma gave me a science book which completely proved the entire thing of Christianity wrong.
Right.
Then I got a computer and I just started looking at videos. Then I went to Professor Stick's channel.
Always Professor Stick.
And he proved wrong Christianity.
Yeah. That's cool.
When I was like 10 when I was 10 years old, I found your channel. Then I just thought Christianity was absolute bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I'm glad you found your way to the outside. So how long have you not believed?
For over a year.
Okay. That's good. I'm glad you found my channel, and I'm glad you found Professor Stick. And I don't know. I wonder how many people have come here from Professor Stick's channel. That is crazy. But I appreciate you talking to me, and maybe we'll talk again, okay?
Okay. Goodbye.
Okay, let's see. Somebody else here. All right. There was somebody that caught my eye here. Who was it? I think it was Nilotac. Let's see. Where is Nilotac? There it is. Okay, I'm gonna unmute you now. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi.
So, what religion were you originally?
When I think up until I was about 12,
Is there any way you can turn your mic up just a little bit, by chance?
Turn it up? I don't think so. I guess I could just hold it closer.
There we go. That's better. So, I'm sorry. What was that you were saying?
I think until I was about maybe 12 or so, I guess I kind of considered myself Christian because my parents were both agnostic, or no, atheist rather. But my grandparents on my mother's side, who I spent a lot of time with, went to church, and they took me to church. And I went there until I was about 6. I don't remember much, but what I do remember, and this was the reason why I actually stopped going, was because when I was little, I loved dinosaurs, of course. And I of course, believed that they were real. And then when they started trying to tell me that they never existed, they were like, God never created dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are a myth. Little 6-year-old me was like, that doesn't make any sense.
Wow. That is so crazy that they would even say that. That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, like
that's the kind of thing I've come to expect from Christianity, though, is saying things like that, you know?
Yeah, and so I was like, that doesn't make any sense. And I was just kind of bored with church in general, so I eventually just kind of stopped going when I was about 6. But I still kind of believed that there was some sort of deity when I was growing up. And then when I was about 12 or 13, I don't really believe in it anymore. I do consider myself agnostic, though, because, like, you know, who knows what happens after we die?
Sure.
We'll never know.
Sure. Interesting.
So I think up until that point, I'm probably going to stay, very iffy about it all.
Sure, yeah. I know that I'm not 100% sure that there's no God. I don't know if you've heard these, I guess definitions or whatever, but these are the definitions that I go with. As far as atheist goes, I define it, and myself in turn, as just like if somebody makes a claim about a dragon or something, you may know this already, but I'm just saying it for the audience. If somebody makes a claim about a dragon being real, they have a pet dragon who's invisible, right? I will disbelieve that claim. I'm not saying that there isn't. It's possible there is. But I'm saying I'm going to withhold belief until they give me evidence of it. And with
Until we have proof,
agnosticism,
yeah.
I have always felt like it addresses the knowledge about it. Do I know that it's real or know that it's not real? So I would call myself an agnostic atheist in that sense. It's very possible that God does exist, and if there was evidence for him, then I would accept that readily, but I just haven't seen any yet. Does that describe you or no?
I would say it kind of does, because like I personally do believe that, like, you know, we haven't seen everything there is to see
Sure.
on this earth. Like, you know, there's creatures we possibly haven't seen, you know, cryptids, ghosts, and whatnot.
Sure.
And in my mind, a god of sorts kind of falls into that category of something we just haven't discovered yet.
Sure. Interesting.
So,
Okay.
Yeah. Until I get proof of it, solid proof, or I experience it myself, I'm going to stay, you know, on the fence about it.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I can get on board with that. So about 6 years old is when you kind of stopped believing it, you said, right? Roughly?
It's when I stopped going to church, and then as I got older, I think it was because or maybe it was like closer to 14, because my first boyfriend was an atheist, but he came from a very Christian home.
Right.
And his mother and his siblings and his father were all very Christian. They all liked me, though, despite them knowing that I didn't really believe in it, except for his father. His father did not speak a single word to me. He would give me dirty looks whenever I came around, because, you know, I didn't share his beliefs. Like, I don't remember ever speaking to his father. And I think because of that, that's when I was like, I don't really like this whole religion thing if I'm being shunned for it,
Yeah.
you know?
Definitely. I'm totally on the same page. That's one big problem with religion, is it creates like a tribalistic mentality, you know, us against them kind of thing. And that's something that we have to keep in mind when coming out of religion is, I mean, being atheist myself, it would be really easy to like get on board with other atheists and say Christians suck, Christians are bad, they're evil, they're, you know, they mess things up, they're poison for the world. But I specifically on my channel try to attract people who are still on the inside. I mean, I want to get Christianity or I want to get Christians on my side against cults and against destructive cults specifically, because I don't want that tribalism for one thing, you know.
Yeah, half of the stuff you talk about when it comes to like Jehovah's Witnesses,
Yeah.
I knew next to nothing until I found your channel. And when you talked about this, I was like, oh my God, this is, you know, absurd. It's ludicrous. It's just awful.
Yeah. I know. I pay a lot more attention to Jehovah's Witnesses than I do others, but I'm trying to branch out a little bit. I'm glad that these cults are getting exposure, though. It really needs it.
Yeah, you're definitely doing like a very good cause, I think.
I appreciate that. And also I appreciate you coming on and talking to me. Hopefully
No
I'll
problem.
see you in here again.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for letting me speak. It
Sure.
was fun.
Okay, let's see. I was going to unmute somebody with a very difficult name to pronounce. Raknarg. Hey.
Oh, hey, am I muted?
You are unmuted. How's it going?
Not bad. How about yourself?
Pretty good. So were you religious originally?
Oh, yeah, I was. I don't know if you read my message, but I grew up Mormon in Canada.
I did read it. So tell me about that. What was that like?
So that's a funny thing, is that so I'm an anti-theist now. I'm not Mormon like I used to be, but
Sure.
It's not I don't know, I guess it wasn't as bad as people sort of make it out to be. So the thing is that I think the culture in Canada is a little bit different than it is in the States. So I find people are generally, like, for instance, like more liberal with how they view things and whatnot. Like, for instance, I didn't meet many people who are anti-evolutionist or anything like that.
Like in Canada, you mean?
Yeah, in Canada.
Okay, that's good, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I still I think that like what the church overall is pretty bad.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
my experience itself though wasn't necessarily as terrible as it was for other people. The reason I left wasn't because of the church itself.
Okay, so what was your reason for leaving?
So
You don't have to
I was
say.
pretty scientific when I was a teenager for the most part. So it just kind of came out of that, right?
Okay.
You just start realizing that things are incorrect and it kind of topples over each other.
Sure.
You get to the point where eventually you realize there's no reason to believe the thing you believe anymore, and it just kind of transitions.
Right.
And then I started reading more material and became atheist after that as well.
Good. Well, I'm glad you're on the outside. I was wondering, did you ever end up going on a mission or anything?
No, I got out before that point, luckily. So
That's good.
yeah.
I don't know if you saw my most recent video, but
Oh yeah, I watched
Okay.
that. That's why I'm here right now.
okay, that's awesome. Yeah, I was just thinking about that guy earlier, about the dude I worked with who who skipped his mission to go to college, and he was just treated poorly by the people in the church. It was so sad, man. And I ended up adding him on Facebook later on and talked to him, and because I kind of feel something of a kinship with him, having come out of Jehovah's Witnesses. And he ended up blocking me on Facebook and going back to the church. He thought I was an apostate, so kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah,
I
I
am
can
an
see that.
apostate.
Yeah, a lot of what I read about Jehovah's Witnesses, there's some similarities at least between the two.
Yeah, they're both pretty extremist in their own right, and of course, going and knocking on doors. Since I have you here, do Mormons knock on doors outside of mission work, or is it just when they're on a mission?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much just mission stuff. I don't think people don't usually go around proselytizing to strangers for the most part. You might get one here or there, I guess.
Right, interesting. Yeah, I actually work with a Mormon now, and she's super nice. Love her to death, but she is just immersed completely, just to the core in that. In that.
Yeah,
thing.
so that's the thing, is that they won't go door to door, but they're definitely encouraged to try to profess to their acquaintances and whatnot.
Yeah,
I even did that when I was a kid. So
yeah, for sure. When did you get baptized? Like 8 years old, right? Is when they try.
Yeah, exactly. Like for anybody who's born in the church, it's like you have a choice, air quote.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, but it ultimately really isn't a choice at all, is it? Because it's being influenced by their ideals and their opinions and all of that stuff. I just hate to see children influenced that way,
Oh yeah, and there's like incredible pressure from all directions. It's like you can't actually you can't tell your parents, no, I don't really want to get baptized. For the most part, it depends on who it is, but that would be very uncommon, I think.
Yeah, of course, kids want to make their parents happy. They want to do what their parents want them to do. I don't know about you or any other kid, but my kid, Alpha Force Zero, looks up to me. She wants to be like me, right? It's kind of common, so it's just a shame. I hate to see it.
Yeah, I agree.
But anyway, I appreciate you coming on and talking to me. And ex-Mormon, that's really interesting. Hopefully we'll get to talk again because, like I said, there is something of a kinship there.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I'll be around watching.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. We'll talk to you next time then.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Okay. There was another person. Let's see. Looking for aforementioned person's name. Actually, there's somebody else on here that I wanted to unmute before that. Wait a minute. Cosmological, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, not much. Just tuning in.
Sweet. So, yeah, I've seen you around a little bit. A few of my fellow YouTubers know you and like your channel. By the way, Cosmological has a YouTube channel. You don't have the YouTuber role. Let me just pop that bad boy on there. Anyway.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So anyway, Cosmological, he has a YouTube channel. Should check that out. I've heard good things. Haven't seen it yet, but I will. I promise. So tell me, were you religious originally? Are you still?
I was originally. I'm not anymore. started out as, fairly liberal Christian, but
Yeah.
eventually I sort of went on a path of deconversion from deism to apatheism to.
Right. You're still with me, right? I think I lost you for a second. You there? Aw. I think I lost him. Oh. Soul-crushing sadness. Oh, there he is. Hey.
I'm sorry.
No problem. So anyway, you said you moved from deism to apatheism? Oh, I lost him again. All right, I'll tell you what. I'll come back to you in a couple of minutes. Let me just talk to somebody else, and then I'll come back to you right at the end, see if we can get a conversation one more time. If not, I can talk to you next time either way. So let's see. Lil Judd 50, are you there? Testing? Are you there? 1, 2, 3. Hey.
Who are you talking to? Hi.
So, were you religious originally?
Originally I was not religious, but I would end up going to church thing every now and again. Every summer holiday,
Okay. So
the church would do like a week of like activities for like year 1 to year 6.
So
it would be like activities like not really religious, but recent, like from year 8, my parents started taking me to church. I didn't really want to go at first, but
Right.
I don't really believe in the religion, but I only go to church still for the food,
right,
and meeting up with friends.
Okay.
So yeah,
good social community.
But-
yeah,
yeah.
I hear you. So what
and
church
one-
is it? Is it?
Baptist.
Oh, it's Baptist.
Christian.
Okay, interesting. So
Yeah.
do you feel like it's kind of an extremist church, or you think it's pretty moderate, or?
No, it's like met at most, considering I can sit at the back with my headphones in and no one really gives any.
Nobody cares. That's awesome.
No one cares.
That's not so bad then. You're not from
Yeah.
the U.S., I assume. Is that right?
No, Britain.
Okay, that's cool.
3 o'clock in the morning.
Right. Oh, yeah, that is pretty late, man. I intend to change the time for Sundays because, maybe I can get some people from Britain and Australia and stuff in if I make it a lot earlier on Sundays, but I haven't done that yet. But anyway.
I know Australians like this time.
Yeah.
Or like round about this time because it's like early morning for them.
Yeah, that's true.
Over there. I only know that because when I was in year 5, I would play Call of Duty with my uncle, and that would be at going into midnight, and it would be early morning for him.
Right? Yeah, I think right now, wait a minute. I think New Zealand is 16 hours ahead of where I am in the U.S. at this moment, and Australia is like 12 hours ahead or 14, somewhere there. But anyway,
I don't know the exact time.
Yeah, somewhere in there. But so yeah, it wasn't extremists then, and it's kind of interesting to me that you were going to a church at all, because from my understanding, Britain is pretty moderate, if
Christian.
religious at all, right? I mean, there isn't much
Yeah.
religion to speak of there, not as much as the U.S. at least.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
But I did have, I failed my RE somehow, even though at the time I was religious-ish, if to say.
Right.
But we needed different viewpoints from different Christians.
Yeah.
We were stuck with a geographer teacher teaching RE, religious studies.
Okay.
And she was Catholic. So we only had a Christian and Catholic viewpoint, or if we did cover a different viewpoint, it would very be this, like, very close to the same.
Right. That
Not
is
much different.
So crazy.
And when it got to the GCSE, I kind of was like, from my viewpoint, what?
Yeah,
I'm
right.
supposed to have an opinion on it?
Right.
Yeah, I can't think right now. Too busy about maths, English. And
Important things.
Yeah. I got an E for my GCSE result.
Right,
for
and
RE.
E is what is E in Britain? I forget.
Like one of the worst grades you can get.
Okay.
It's like, not even considered pass.
Right. That's
But
interesting.
I'm a mixture of letters and numbers. So my maths and English were in numbers. 9 is the best, 1's the worst. And then it's the letters for the rest.
Right.
Uh,
Oh, that's
First
very
time on
interesting.
here,
It's so completely different in the U.S. And actually, as a side note here, I was looking at religiousness in Britain, and it was, let's see, a 2004 survey by the BBC in 10 countries showed the proportion of the population who don't believe in God, varying. Okay, so 39% of the UK does not believe in God, is what it says. That's interesting, but
yeah, considering we were the one who spread Christianity,
right?
Really, like we drove it in. We were the people who conquered and
Yep.
then installed our religion, and now we've kind of dropped it, and everyone else is getting different versions of the same thing.
That's hilarious, man. Anyway, there's one more person I want to get to before I get off of the stream. So
Okay.
I appreciate you talking to me. Maybe we'll talk again next time, okay?
Yep. Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay, now I was going to unmute Cosmo... Wait, where is he? There he is. Cosmological. Hey, you there?
Yep, still.
Okay, sorry about that. Where were we? What were we saying before we got disconnected?
I was just, I think, telling you about my past.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, it was pretty simple. Fairly liberal Christian. I saw a few people in the chat saying, "Oh, that exists." Yes.
Right.
And so, I believed in evolution and everything, but eventually I just got out of it. Became a deist and sort of moved from there.
Yeah, so you became a deist and it was just kind of over from there, you say?
Yeah, I think it was a stepping stone, really, for
Okay.
me. Some people, it may. For me, it was just sort of part of my path, I guess.
Right. So how long have you been on the outside?
I mean, outside religion for several years now. But I've only considered myself like an atheist.
Only considered... Ugh, I'm sorry, tongue twister. Only considered yourself an atheist for how long?
About a year or so.
About a year or so. Interesting. Yeah, I'm sure you've probably heard my story. Most of the audience has, at the very least. I still believed it when I got out at 18 until I was about 21 or 22, and I'm 28 now, so I don't know. I didn't really consider myself atheist until I was like 23 or 24 or something. That's when I got serious about religion and politics. So anyway, that's pretty interesting. But by the way, I'll see if you can post a link to me. I will put a link to your channel in this, in the description of this video.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's awesome. I gotta say, I'm a big fan of your. I think you've done some great work.
I appreciate that. Thanks for watching. I feel like I'm I don't know. I feel like I pull a lot of people out because I get messages about it a lot, and really that was my goal with YouTube. So it's paid off. It's all of the work has been worth it in the end, So anyway, well, I appreciate you talking to me, and I think this is the end of the stream. So I am going to unserver mute people. Let's see, and before I hang up. So let's see here. Oh, and by the way, Daddy Casper, thank you for that artwork. That was awesome.
You're welcome.
That was pretty good. I displayed it in today's video, didn't I?
Yeah.
I
was actually really excited about that.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I put it right on the front. There's so much good artwork that I wish I could give more attention to. Oh, man, some really good artists on here. Okay, let's see. Unmute.
Hey.
Hey. Just going down the list, unmuting people. Probably gonna cut this bit out. Hey.
Oh my god.
Quite a large turnout today.
Yeah, pretty big turnout.
Oh my god. That's nice.
Hello.
Hello. This is going to become chaotic very quickly.
Yes, it is.
Alright, well, someone's mic. Oh my god.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh god, it's feedback.
Oh my god, it's
Somebody remute yourself.
No.
I love doing this though, it's pretty funny.
This is a
They're going to crash Discord.
Okay, Tesla.
There we go.
I love doing this though. It is pretty fun.
Tesla.
Yes.
Tesla?
Yes.
Oh, do you see my artwork?
Do I what?
Do you see my artwork?
Wait, who's speaking?
Dempsey!
Wait, Dimsey. Hang on.
Dempsey, yes. Do you
Send
see
a
my-
message in voice chat 4 so I see your username.
where? Oh.
God is speaking.
Like the voice text 4. Oh, okay, Gamsey. I'm not sure if I've seen yours yet or not. Let me check artwork.
It's in the fan art.
All right, thanks for watching, guys.